All right, this one's gonna be hard. I'm gonna try not to ramble too much, but this is gonna be, I'm still processing this, so it's gonna be very difficult for me to describe what this day was, but I'm gonna try. So, ScoutMaster Log, day 30, May 17th. Honestly, it's not me playing around. Like, I'm rarely serious. I'm serious when it counts, I guess, or needs to be. I don't know. I still have a lot of conflicting emotion around this. And I'm going to just try to describe it. So we woke up 4 a.m., had all our stuff packed. I guess we woke up, had the alarm at 4 a.m., all our stuff packed. We were walking the trail by 4:53. So we were about 15 miles away from Monticello. So if you do a 3 mile per hour pace, averaging in breaks for morning ritual, break to break, I don't know, just averaging in 3 mile per hour pace, we should feasibly have made it by 10 a.m. to Monticello. We had some wiggle room right in the sweet spot when the post office was open. So as we're walking the 2-track road, beautiful views as the sun's rising, as the moon's setting. It was just really beautiful, really feeling good, body's feeling good, mind's feeling good, a little smoky, not as smoky as the night before. You can tell the smoke's still in the air, so we're feeling good. We're ready to get our resupply. Magpie and I were both talking it over. I was feeling this way more than she was, but I'm like, well, if somebody offers us a ride into Truth or Consequence, let's not say no. Let's go in there. I wanted to get more updated on the Forest Service and the fire closures that were happening around us. I wanted to check on how big these fires were growing, if we were in danger. I wanted to get more of a lay of the land. Magpie really just wanted to go and pick up the box and go. I thought it was smart to maybe try to figure out what was going on, and I guess I should have listened to her because it came back to bite me in the butt hard. But here we go. So we ended up walking like 13 of the miles. This was all off-trail miles. So if you're going into Monticello on the Grand Enchantment Trail, you're doing 30 miles round trip of non-trail miles. So feasibly, you can hitch any of those miles because it's not part of the thru hike. It's part of the off-trail route. So we had done 13 of the miles. We were about 2 miles from the post office. Looked like we were going to be getting there at like 9:30. So good time. We would have been fine to chill there for a little bit, pack up and go and charge up some stuff. So that's when Magpie threw out a thumb for the first car we had seen in a long time that was actually going our way. It was this old van. So this old van pulls over and these 2 people come out of the car and they look like rock climbers. They look like outdoorsy folk. And I just hear Magpie say, they've done the Grand Enchantment Trail. So it was Kyle and Jeannie, who we would come to know and build a friendship with, that were the 8th and 9th people to hike the Grand Enchantment Trail, which was super cool. So we hopped in the van with them. They gave us that ride 2 miles to the post office. And along the way, we shared some stories. And also, they said they were going to Truth and Consequence. It's actually where they lived. So along the ride to the post office, Magpie and I looked at each other and were like, well, if they're already going there, you just want to go kind of get a shower, do some laundry, stay in a motel, and figure out our next steps, figure out what we need to do for the upcoming rest of the trail. And we're like, yeah, why not? So we pick up our box, resupply box, and then start the 20-mile drive to Truth and Consequence with Kyle and Jeannie. Along the way, sharing some stories, really awesome folks. And Kyle starts telling us about all this news because he knows a lot of people in the Forest Service industry. He's like, I won't be surprised if New Mexico, the entire state, he meant as in like the Forest Service areas, will be shut down in the next few days, which really worried us. So as we're getting closer to Truth and Consequence, we start talking about which motel we should stay at, and Kyle and Jeannie had overheard us, and they're like, well, we have a guest house. Why don't you stay with us? We felt like they were offering it because hiker to hiker, but we didn't want to impose on their generosity already, and we tried to deny it. They kept pushing, so we're like, okay, we'll stay. So we get to their house. They had just come out of a rock climbing trip, so they went, took a shower, did their thing. We walked to the grocery store, got some sodas, unpacked our resupply, got ready, got everything lined up to be able to hit the next section of Monticello to Socorro. So that's when we chatted with them a little bit longer, and we're like, okay, we need to go get lunch. And at lunch, we went to this little place called A&B in Truth and Consequence, and Truth or Consequence, and got 2 burritos and started reading the National Forest updates. So I've described this in my articles, I've described this on the YouTube channel. If you look at the Grand Enchantment Trail from where Monticello is, almost the remainder of the trail, like 90%, 80 to 90%, somewhere in there, is on Cibola National Forest land. It goes Cibola Ranger District, then it goes Mount Air Ranger District, and it ends in Sandia Ranger District in Albuquerque. And those were the 3 areas that the National Forest was shutting down. Magdalena, we could have done an alternate route. They had a piece of it shut down for the bear trap fire, but Mount Air and I blanked on the name, I'm sorry. The other one, Sandia Ranger District, they were restricting all public access. So we had a decision to make. We had 2 options. So we could have purely walked road to connect our footsteps around those sections, but this is where it doesn't compute. So I've described this as well. On the Pacific Crest Trail or the Continental Divide Trail, you can expect fires. But those trail systems are 2,600 miles to 3,100 miles long. If you alternate around a fire closure by 100 miles or 200 miles, while still a lot of road walking, you don't lose the essence of the trail. You experience all that trail around it. You still feel like you hiked the PCT and the CDT. Drastically different for the Grand Enchantment Trail. If you alternate 200 miles around the Grand Enchantment Trail, we would have just had to purely road walk from, at that point, Monticello to Albuquerque. And the Grand Enchantment Trail is only 750 miles, and each mile is so unique and so hard fought for that at that point it wouldn't even be hiking the Grand Enchantment Trail if we did that alternate. It's a difference in my perception. I know other people might argue with me, but it didn't feel true to the essence of what that trail is. So no alternate available. I tried calling the ranger districts in the Cibola National Forest to get a special use permit. It was a hearty no. They were like, no way. So yeah, that really didn't leave us with any options besides getting off trail for the moment, which brings us to this moment. So we ended up having to call it at lunch. I was in denial all the way until past dinner time. I was in denial even the next morning when we woke up and we had to get a ride to Albuquerque to pick up our car. For me, it was harder. Magpie has had extenuating circumstances that has taken her out of through hikes before. I've hiked now 7 years, 20,000 miles plus, even though numbers don't really have a meaning. I'm just trying to put it in context for y'all. Out of all that stuff, I've never had to get off a through hike. I've walked roads around fire closures on those longer trails that I've mentioned, but I've never gotten off a trail hike for immense amounts of pain, immense amounts of suffering on the GDT, physicality, mentality, whatever you want. I've never had to stop a through hike. And that's what it is. It's stopping. It's pausing the through hike. That's at least how I can find peace. In all loosest definitions of the word, we're going to still be quote unquote through hiking the Grand Enchantment Trail because we're going to still do it within a calendar year. But those are very loose definitions. At least for right now, that's where I find my solace and my peace. Again, I think if we would have chosen road walk to just connect our steps from Monticello to Albuquerque, that would have been less of a through hike than stopping, pausing the hike, and coming back to this forest when they're open in late summer, early fall of this year. So it's still hard for me. Again, we're going to go deep into some stuff, and I'm going to try not to keep you too long here, but I've been a hiker for 7 years now, a through hiker, and I know there's not a whole lot of weight that is put on that word besides the internal weight I put on it myself, but it's become a part of me. It's become a pretty big part of me. I revolve my career around it now. I pretty much revolve my life around it. I revolve my life on through hiking, and then in the off season working and running a business to through hike and while through hiking. So it's a pretty big part of me, and I know, again, the pressure's not coming anywhere outwardly besides my own internal thing, but getting around the fact that I had to pause a through hike or stop or whatever you want to call it, and have to come back to it, it's really hitting me hard. We have been off trail now for 3 or 4 days, and my mind and emotions are so jumbled. I just am feeling uneasy a lot of the time. Again, I think I've tied a lot of my personality into that, and that's my own, I guess, cross to bear, because it's not exactly healthy, and I recognize that, but it's who I am at this point, and it's what I do, and I'm happy with my life decisions. So I guess at a certain point too, that is the healthy part of it, is I'm happy with who I am, and I take stock of who I am and what I put value in constantly. I'm constantly Constantine. No, I just had to make a joke because I feel uncomfortable right now, and that's how I cope with uncomfortableness. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. I'm just in a constant sense of uneasiness. We have a lot to look forward to this year. We're gonna be doing more smaller through hikes. We might do the PCT. We might do the Te Aurora. We're gonna trail magic a lot of awesome hikers this year, and just give back to the community and be a part of that. And there's so much to look forward to. And I just got to get out of my own head. I got to let it go. Kyle and Jeannie, I know you all probably won't watch this, and that's okay. But even on this platform, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you for just being a sounding board for us. Y'all are Grand Enchantment Trail hikers. You know what it's like. Y'all are hikers. You're outdoors people. And when we were there on this day, this night, day 30, we ended up cooking dinner and sharing in a meal together, and just spent a few hours swapping stories and like listening to each other and like trying to feel through these moments. Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better new friendship to form at the, I'm gonna say beginning or middle of the Grand Enchantment Trail. The beginning for when we come back, the middle of where we are at in that journey, I don't know how to define it. Again, I am jumbled. There's so much like conflicting and contrasting emotions inside of me right now that I've said this a lot, I don't know how to define it. And I guess I'm gonna have to be okay with that. I'm gonna have to be okay with not being able to find it for a little bit and just keep moving forward. Right now we're in this little town called Espanola, New Mexico, and we're making our way out to Ghost Ranch. Might be able to help some other CDT hikers. The CDT also got affected by the fire. They closed it from Grants, New Mexico, all the way up to Chama. So might be able to give back and help that way. After that, we're gonna tool around Colorado for a quick second, and then start making our way out west to the PCT quarter, the Trail Magic folks out there. Along the way, do some smaller through hikes, 100-mile range, 50-mile range, 300-mile range. So I mean, I guess I just got to keep moving forward. I got to be okay with not knowing and just being in the feeling. Not trying to fight the feeling. Like right now, again, uneasy, but it's not an unhealthy uneasy. It just is, just part of it. A lot of conflicting emotions on day 30 that seep into even today. Again, I said day 30 is here. The timeline right now for when I'm recording this is like 4 days past day 30. Yeah, a lot of conflicting emotions. Don't know what else more to say about it besides Kyle and Jeannie, you are wonderful folks. Thank you so much for hosting us. And people, stuff happens in this world. There's way worse stuff than we're just a blip on the radar. At least in my perception and how I help cope with it is my problems right now with not being able to connect my footsteps is so minuscule compared to what's happening with these forest fires, what's happening with this world, what's happening with the drought, what's happening with so many things. So I don't know, gotta let the feelings wash through me. That's about it. Maybe if I drink more sparkling water, they'll help wash through me. Hope this made sense. I doubt it did. I feel like it may have. Again, even how I just said that, contrasting. All right, last ScoutMaster Log on the Grand Enchantment Trail, at least for a while. To be continued. So we'll be doing some more ScoutMaster Logs during the road trip. on these smaller hikes, but last Grand Enchantment Trail one for a while. Put a pin in it. All right, ScoutMaster Log, day 30, May 17th.